hate Saturdays. It means I'm always exhausted after work. Today we're going to be doing product photography. In my 2020, my marathon year video, I said I want to buy a drone, possibly a monitor, lens and a laptop in 2020. Now that's going to cost a lot. Basically, I was thinking, how can I use my photography to get money to reinvest into my photography and videography? And there are a few ideas I thought of. There was wedding and event photography, which one day I want to do, but I probably need to do an apprenticeship or something to get into that gradually. However, one idea I had was product photography. Could I work for some small local businesses, taking photos of their products and selling it to them, basically? I know a few people who are like me doing a photography course at college, and they have done that, so something I could maybe look into this year. So today we're just going to be learning the basics of product photography. I'm going to go downstairs, set up a mini studio with one light, and I'm going to try and play around with the lighting, get some random items from around the house which are going to be the products, and try and build some little scenes and see what we can do. If I can learn the basics, then surely I can get to a good grounds for small businesses. In my 2020 My Marathon Year video, I also said that this is going to be a gradual learning process throughout the year, or I hope I said it, and that I'm going to start off learning the basics of photography and try and improve over the course of the year because it's something I've always wanted to properly learn. So this is me taking my first footsteps into product photography. So the first steps are probably going to be trying to get this room into a makeshift studio. So my idea is that the table is going to be where the scene is, whatever I decide to do for the product I'll choose in a bit. So I'm going to have to clear the table, get my basic lighting in here. As you can see, the temperature is very warm, so if I can get my softbox down, it will make it very, very neutral. Anyway, I'm going to clear this table and I'm going to get a softbox set up with my tripod and possibly this camera on. If I'm using this camera and I want to film what I'm doing with my product photography, I'll switch over to my vlogging camera, which is worse quality, but it'll show you what I'm doing with this. Right, I've got the softbox set up behind me. I can't do anything with props or whatever because we need to choose the products which we will be photographing. So the product I've decided to shoot is this watch here. I found it in my parents' bedroom. I think because of the silver rim of it, I think we could try and do something with the light, maybe get a torch, and that would also eliminate the fact that we'd have no natural light. I think I'm going to go for like a rustic scene, one because this is kind of brownish. Don't know if you can see it that much on camera or if it's shadowy. Very dark brown. It is still a brown colour, and so is the inside, and it is a darker brown than the table, so that's good contrast if you ask me. Because the table's also made out of wood, that'll fit in with style perfectly, and then I'm also going to try and get some other foresty, rustic kind of looking stuff, just random stuff, which will probably most of it be blurred out in the final image, which will go around that. This is the setup I have at the moment. I'm currently recording on my vlogging camera. As you can see, my Canon EOS 200D is here. I was using the 10 to 18mm lens, which I got for Christmas, for doing the vlogging with the intro, etc. I'm going to switch over to my 24 to 90mm lens. I don't have a proper macro lens. It's something I'd probably want to invest in the future if I want to do proper product photography, but we'll have to see what shots we can get with this older lens here. It has good zoom, so I'm hoping we can do something with the light, etc. Zoomed in close on the set here. As you can see, the watch is there. I'm going to play around with the items we have here, maybe get a few more. I'll also play around with the light. I don't know if I'm going to have a torch off to the side. I'm going to set up the Canon EOS 200D on either the Gorilla Pod or a smaller desktop thing, which I have, whichever looks better for the scene. Basically, the idea I have in mind for this shoot is something of a rustic kind of wooden feeling, foresty maybe. I'm going to have only the main part of the watch in focus, maybe not even the whole watch in focus, maybe just a bit closest to the camera, with the rest of the background completely blurred out, etc. I'm trying to get the tone to be more warmer, more of those orange vibes, etc. that you'd find at golden hour in a forest. And once it's done, I'll post it on my Instagram, I'll put it in the video, and hopefully you guys can tell me what you think, what I can improve on this photo. So as you can see here, I've got the setup set up. That's how it looks on the screen. That's the photo I will be taking if I decide it is alright like this. Does not look too bad. As you can see, I've got foreground interest. Saturation is not as good on this camera as it looks on the other one. I've got foreground interest, I've got stuff around the watch. The annoying thing is that the watch is center, but I wasn't sure how else to go about this. I could always crop it, so it's slightly off to the side, but I think it's good like this. For a first product photo, that is not too bad at all. This is what the setup looks like without looking in the other camera. As you can see, I've got the watch in the middle of a load of acorns and stuff, and then I've got the other clock just behind over there. I've got this brown cardboard box in the background, just in case it could reflect possibly any of the light. It would make it a bit more browner. I don't think it made too much of a difference, but also in case there were any gaps in the setup, I wanted it to be a brown background and not just whatever was over there. I thought about using this tray to reflect some of the light. I've decided not to. As you can see, we have already got a bit of the light bouncing off the perfect bit on the watch anyway, so I actually don't need to use any torches or anything to try and create that effect. What I'm going to do to be able to take the photo, I don't want to be pressing the camera in case it moves the position or anything. So what I could do is I could do Bluetooth to my phone to the Canon Connect app, and I can press the shutter via my phone. Here we go, I'm all connected. I can do remote live view shooting now on my phone. So that is the shot which we have currently, and if I just press shutter, boom, that takes a photo. Like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing. If I want to adjust anything in the setup, I can do then, and I don't have to press the camera, meaning that I won't run the risk of pressing it down on the tripod there, meaning I won't be moving its position. I am slightly zoomed in on this lens if you are wondering. That is not the full shot, and I'm on manual focus, so I focus it perfectly on the watch. So that's how I'm doing everything. So that is the main part of the shoot over and done with. I have got the photos I needed. Why is my hair like that? I took a couple of photos, one with a really wide aperture and one with a really thin, as I'm still trying to get past the basics of photography. Anyway, I'm going to go and edit the photos in Lightroom now, and later this evening we'll have to check up on them and do a review of my first product shoot. However, I think that went very well, considering that I wasn't using a proper macro lens and for the setup we had. So here are my finished photos. I'm exhausted, it's really late, I've been editing for a while. As you can see, I did go through and try a few different compositions. Some have the watch centered, some to the right, some to the left. I've kept the same color theme to each photo. I edited one, then copied and pasted the color theme on Lightroom. The only things I changed were like the graduated filters and the brushes over where the image should be highlighted, etc. But I was keeping it consistent that the watch was was exposed more than the rest of the image, I guess, to be very bright, so it would catch the viewer's attention and they'll know that that's the main product. It's bringing their attention into that part of the image. I tried to make the blacks a little bit faded because I thought that looked better overall on the rest of the images, and I did keep those warm tones, the oranges, like I said I would, because of it being a foresty kind of rustic style. I think my favourite photo is probably this one, although I like all of them, to be honest. In a few of them the watch wasn't perfectly focused. As I said, I was doing it all on manual focus and I was trying to see on the little camera screen if it's in focus. Most of them are in focus. On one or two of them it's just the slightest bit off focus for watches, so that's a bit disappointing, but I've definitely got photos there which I think I could sell if I was doing a proper product shoot for a company. And in that sense, basically today was to see how good of a shoot I could do. So if I think I can do it for a company, then it's a success. And I'm gonna practice more in the future of these. One thing though, in hindsight, maybe the style of the berries and stuff didn't quite fit the theme because it's a watch. It's not exactly something which is taken out in the wild, or do you get where I'm coming from? But the theme could have been slightly different. Maybe that's something I'd need to plan out in advance in future rather than just get into it and being like, what could match this colour theme or whatever. So if I was to work for a company, I'd try and plan my props in advance. That's the only change I'd make. I'm happy with everything else. Anyway, yeah, if you've enjoyed watching my first ever product shoot, remember to leave the video a like, subscribe if you are new, turn on notifications so you don't miss my next video, and hasta luego.